Okay, my name is Vance Bateman, and I was born in Bristol, Florida. It's a little very small community in Liberty County, but about halfway between Panama City and Tallahassee. And I was conceived, born, and raised about 2 blocks in a home, about 2 blocks from the school. And stayed there until I left and came over here trying to make a dollar, you know. And my wife, we were high school sweethearts, as they call it, and we wound up getting married right out of high school and without a job or, young folks. And she had a art scholarship for some college about 300 miles this away, and I had a football and basketball scholarship to FSU. And however, FSU wouldn't let you play back then, or none of the colleges would, if you were married. And now it's completely different, of course. And so we thought that thing over, and we was afraid for her to go this way and me this way. 4 years from now, something might happen, you know. Anyway, we decided to get married and do the best we could. And of course, last week we celebrated our 60th wedding anniversary. So we left there trying to go someplace and find someplace that we could make our way, you know. And I came over here and at that time there was a St. Regis paper company here. And out in the cantonment area, and now it's another name. And I came over here to try to get a job for them, and I heard when I was over here that Chemstrand Corporation had just opened a plant, and they were located down on the banks of the Escambia River. And so I went out there and took a test, and the gentleman out there, his name was Ed DeBuse, interviewed me, and we got through, and he says, I don't know how he found out. He says, when you still play basketball? I said, no, it's been a couple of years since I played basketball. He said, well, since the company out here is fixing to get a basketball team to compete with other industries. And he says, if they were to hire you, you reckon you'd be interested in playing basketball? I said, I'd love to. He says, consider yourself hired. So they hired me for that, you know. And of course, I was with them for 39 years. And of course, it was really a good thing that happened to me. And so when Ella and I could go to, we did went to college at night. And she wound up getting an associate's degree. And I had a lot of hours at night, but I did go there. I didn't get an associate's degree, but I did get a lot of hours and things that helped me in my job and with credit union work, you know. We're very fortunate and blessed that all that worked out, you know. I worked they put me in the engineering department, and what that really means is in the maintenance department. And for all of my career out there, for the most part, I was mostly in charge of transportation, and I was responsible to see that all of our equipment that had wheels on it and had engines in it ran and did the job they were supposed to do, because we had hundreds, everything from push lawn mowers to locomotives, cranes, bulldozers, and 30 or 40 trucks. It was a big place back then. And I had, about 10 people that worked for me, helping me do that. But that was mostly what I did. And had an opportunity to go other places and do other things out there, but most people out there work shift work. I had a day job, so I stayed with it and worked out on it. One of the best things that happened, though, that I got into the credit union work. And of course, that's lasted for 47 years now, working my 47th year. And I wouldn't trade that. The only thing I'd trade that for that would be my wife and kids maybe, but that was one of the most important things in my life. Still is. And it is with a lot of these folks here. You know, they're very, very dedicated and love their credit union. The organization was real young then, just getting started, and looked like to me it was a good thing. It was going to help a lot of people, and it was interesting, and I just wanted to be a part of it. Oh, well, naturally I would think it's really helped a lot, and because I know myself, I've been 47 years and just numerous hours and of training and conferences and schools, and you know, and I'm in hopes that all of that experience will help a little bit now, just like it did back then, you know. That's right. Most of us love one another like brothers and sisters, and of course I might add that one of the reasons that we've always been successful, but we've been successful now. We're successful now more than ever, especially because of the economy. And I feel like we've got the best CEO we've ever had, and he's got the best staff we've ever had, too. And I know we hired him when he was just a kid. You know? And I tell him this. I tell any of these conferences I go to, Orlando, anywhere, and they'll ask me, well, how'd your CEO do? And I say, man, if we didn't have that CEO, we would do something. He's the sorriest thing that we've ever had, and of course we're trying to keep somebody from hiring him from us, you know. Well, the first thing when they get out of high school, and they need to get as much education as they can. Don't do like I did, you know, and try to piece it in later at night. That's if there's any way possible, go ahead and get an education now, and in whatever field you get in. My advice to them would be like my dad gave me advice to do a good job and do what you can to please the people that you work for. Get on their team, and the main thing my dad tried to get me to do that I've always tried is, you know, is the golden rule: treat everybody like you'd want to be treated. And if you do that, and you'll have a lot of friends, and friends is real important. It had just opened up. They had started the plant in like December of '53, and I came in February the 1st of 1954. Wow. And it had just started running a couple of months, 2-3 months before that. It seemed like the credit union was organized. A charter was applied for it, and in the 50s, in the probably late 50s, middle to late 50s. I know the first year I served on the board was in, I served on the supervisor committee in 1965, and found out that wasn't for me, and the next year I went for the board. And
back then the elections were pretty contested, weren't they?
Oh, you saw the...
Yes.
You saw the people. I mean, and you see in the plant had around 6,000 or 7,000 employees. Wow. And we would have people come into those meetings to vote on those elections anywhere from, it was always 700 or 800, but we have had it high as 1,300 to 1,400. To come up in the elections was just like a county election. Right. And it was very, very difficult to get elected. And hey, there was not any fringe benefits. We have some few fringe benefits now, but then the only thing that you would obtain that would be something like a fringe benefit was once a month you would get a $2.50 meal after you're board member in the plant cafeteria. So I mean, it wasn't that; it was just people wanted to get involved, and they loved their credit union. All those 6,000 or 7,000 felt the same way, you know. Well, when I got in '65, it had come to around 4.5 million is the assets at that time. And of course, we had just that number of employees, where now we have 150, and all kind of branches, you know. And Of course, it went a long time before we built this building and got off the plant. And
This is the first building off the plant?
yeah, it was our branch office and administrative building combined at that time. We were tickled to death to make that step.
I bet.
And then we started branching out, you know, and then when Chris came, he talked us into going to a community charter, and then things did start picking up. And of course, Chris was a former NCUA examiner. In the beginning, we hired him from a credit union in Alabama, but he was a former examiner. And he talked us into, we tried to put a branch in Atmore, and was going to try out southern Alabama. And the state wouldn't allow us to do that. So he talked us into switching to a federal charter, which is who he had worked for originally, was the federal people. And so then, of course, the Atmore branch was one of our most successful branches. And then we put one in Bruton, and would have continued except the economy got real bad. But this credit union here is, compared to other credit unions, is just like 10 and 1. Compared to banks, no comparison to banks. You know, there's banks all over this going out of business, you know, having to merge in with others and stuff like that, you know. Yeah, we took on a little credit union named Newport to start with, and then it can be employees, and we've looked at several more, and we still look at them. And when we see the one that we think will be good for us, we'll merge with some more. And I think it'll continue as long as we have the management staff that we do, and that's it's not people like me. That's the most important thing. Where my responsibility and us folks is trying to get that good management staff. But as long as we have a management staff like we do, this credit union is going to keep going. I believe, like I say, some of this stuff here, it's going to soar right on up, and it's going to be good. It's going to get a lot better than it is now. We wind up with 20 branches probably, you know. But credit union is something for us volunteers. It's just, used to years ago, we had to do most of the things now our staff does. We had to come in and work and make decisions now. I mean, it's so easy now for somebody like me. And I mean, I was chairman of the board of this credit union for 22 years. That was a wonderful 22 years. I really enjoyed it. And we made progress, but none of that was as good as it's been the last few years. What really tested our folks was the economy going bad, and to see how well they held up and how they could continue to make money. And as I said before, it's not us folks that's doing that. It's that management and staff.